we've seen all the photographs and we've seen the movies in the past of what happened in the war. But coming here and seeing it in the first person had a much bigger impact on me.
I didn't bring a camera with me this trip because I don't think that you can capture pain in a photograph.
I found that with something this important, it's not about preparing, it's about being there at that time, in that moment, and experiencing it.
First, they start propaganda against Jews. Here we see very typical poster that was in every public building and every place, showing and telling in Polish: Jews, insects, typhus. There was one tram especially only for Jews, and that was the only tram that Jews could use. This is a mass grave of Warsaw Ghetto victims. Here we see special kind of cement protection, these bars, that was protection against collapsing of the grave, and this we can still see right there.
I've never been to such a large cemetery in my entire life. Pretty breathtaking, pretty spiritual. That was inspiring. I think it was very sad. I think it's huge. It's just nothing like I've ever seen
Tombs
before.
with bullet holes in them, bullet marks.
I actually was shocked by one thing, especially in Lublin, because I was kind of expecting the Shabbat with the community to be a little different, naively not realizing that the community is kind of gone, and it's not like, yeah, there was 42,000 people, now there's 25, and not only is it 25, it looks like there's no shul and not that much kind of religion left compared to what it was.
Beyond that fence, that green field, was where the Jews had to wait, sometimes all day, all night, naked. The Germans, in their rather sick humour, called it the Rosengarten, the Rose Garden. What's good for roses? Behind the row of barracks, here where the exhibition is, down the hill were allotments, SS allotments, fruit and vegetable gardens. They scattered them as fertiliser. They used to sell them to the people, sackloads, to the people of Lublin as fertiliser. They did it in all the camps. There are 42,000 Jews in 3 big labour camps in this district. They thought if these 42,000 had an underground organisation, organise a revolt at the same time, they wouldn't stand a chance. So he decided to liquidate the whole 42,000 in a 2-day operation. 18,400 were shot in 1 day. In Poniatowa, another 10 or 12,000, Travniki, another 10 or 12,000. process took the maximum 2 hours. From arriving on the train to being buried in a mass grave, maximum 2 hours.
How many people?
Half a transport would be about 1,500, 2,000.
After the war, it was a holiday camp for communist workers, then a Boy Scouts camp. It was a holiday camp.
At Sobibor, we were standing on the mass graves, which I've heard about before, and we all looked down and there were these white fragments of bone. And the more you looked, the more you saw those white fragments of bone everywhere. Literally, we were walking all over them, and we picked some up. And that's something I just wasn't expecting, I wasn't ready for. That it wasn't just a grave. There's actual physical evidence of human bones and human bodies there.
I came on this trip because I think it's something everyone should experience once in their life, something that's not really going to be here probably too much longer, and I guess it's part of our background, and we should really, I think, know what's going on in the world apart from what happens where we are, which is pretty comfortable, but kind of remember this is, what can happen in the world.